And you thought he had anger issues in the last film. Blimey. That tops anything then... Well, that tops anything that was in this. It looked like he was going to break the lift. My training is paying off. I just hope he brings that girl to me. Then I could turn her to the dark side, or kill her. This is sounding very Return of the Jedi, considering this film takes a lot of cues from Empire Strikes Back. Then again, the last one took a few cues from Empire, whilst being pretty much a New Hope. Will the next one have a few New Hope in it when it's trying to be more Return of the Jedi? I don't know. Might have some Empire in with Return. This one did feel like a first one as well as a second one at the same time. Then again, the last one felt like a middle one, didn't it? Like it did as much as the first. Hopefully the last one will pretty much feel like a last one. Ooh, I'm so excited. I don't feel so good all of a sudden. I feel like something's happening, and it's going to happen in this film that is going to change my perspective of the future. I'm starting to think I might not even have any. Might not have a future. I wonder why. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, the film we've pretty much been waiting for all year, and it's the third one in a row. Episode 9 will have the same treatment in 2019, and I am recording this on the day I have seen the film, which is Thursday the 14th of December 2017, which is the day the film came out in the UK. So, don't worry Americans, you're probably going to be watching this after it's come out in your country. And pretty much everywhere else apart from China is getting it on the 13th, 14th or 15th of December. Well, everyone who's getting it completely, anyone who's actually going to be showing, any country showing the film will be getting it on these 3 days apart from China. Anyone that's not showing the film will not be showing it at all, so yeah. Poor old China, you have to wait till January. I'll try not to spoil the film so much because it's only just come out and it's a big film. It'll probably have a lot of spoilers. I might talk a bit more about those in the ranking video of my 2017 films next year, which will probably be in late January or early February, early to mid-February. So I'll try to keep this a little less spoiler-filled, probably more spoiler-free, or at least not go into too much detail about it. The plus side means it could be a shorter review, but I doubt it. So let's get started. So the plot of this film is the Resistance are once again under attack from the First Order and have to evacuate a planet where their base, presumably the one from The Force Awakens, was, and they have to escape the First Order, but the First Order are able to track them during light speed. So after a battle they escape, but the First Order is literally on them like that. So they're chasing them. Meanwhile, and I'm glad it didn't open on this, I'm glad it opened on the escape from the attempted escape from the planet, with the base. We also see Rey going to meet Luke Skywalker, like at the end of The Force Awakens, and we look to see her trying to train, as well as here trying to convince Luke to come back and help fight with the Resistance. And let's say he's not very willing, and he's trying not to come back with her or even train her. And soon, Finn wakes up and he then helps out with the resistance, and he meets this girl called Rose, who helps him in a plan able to stop the First Order from attacking the resistance ships and allowing them to escape onto another planet with a rebel base. And they have to go to this other planet where they have to get this kind of code breaker to help them do this. Meanwhile, Rey is starting to believe there is some good in Ben still left there, like Leia did, and has an attempt to convert him to the light side. However, he and Snoke, who we get to see properly this time, not just in a big hologram, we get to see them as we see them trying to turn her to the dark side, and it's a battle with wits as well as with brawn. And also, there are these new creatures called porgs that appear throughout the film. There's quite a few new creatures that are quite important to either the story or just nice to see. And they certainly look a bit more real than some of the ones from the prequels and special editions of the originals. But yeah, so that's basically the gist without having to dive into spoilers. I will warn you, there are quite a few deaths, both on-screen and off-screen, of characters from previous films, or characters you would start to care about if they had appearances later on. And when I say past films, either the last one or some of the other ones, as well as appearances from other characters. Certainly, there is one. This might be a little bit of a spoiler, but there's a character who turns up just over an hour into the film, who you were probably hoping to see again, but weren't expecting to, and that character pops up again for a brief appearance, and it's nice to see them back. And my goodness, it was a great moment, and there's been quite a few great moments in this film, and it's worked, and it's done so well. The characters are all great, all the returning ones, with the actors, they're all brilliant, as are the new ones. And I'm glad we get to see Snoke out of hologram mode a little bit later on. And it looks like he actually is less CG in this one when we do see him properly, as opposed to in hologram. And it does look like he is a bit more prosthetics or motion catch. At least the motion capture looks a little less CG and looks a bit more real. I'm surprised that Maz Kanata from the last film. Well, this is a little bit of a spoiler. She doesn't get much to do in the film. She appears in one scene, but not long, quite brief. Almost as brief as that returning character I mentioned. Probably maybe even briefer, to be honest. But the scene where she is in, it's pretty cool and is well done. And the new characters, I really liked Rose as a strong female character helping out Finn and BB-8 in their mission, and also the new character who takes up Leia's position when she is injured for a bit. What was her name? Vice Admiral Emilion Amilyn Hold on. So I like Hold On. Poe does believe she is a bit of a coward and maybe even traitorous a little bit later on when they're just doing nothing and they're just evacuating. But turns out she was pretty much a hero all along. So, but won't reveal exactly what makes us think this a little bit later on, where it's revealed that she is actually very heroic. Not her past stuff, the stuff that happens in this film. I won't say what happens, but yeah, proves she's a very heroic character and quite funny at some points. There's also Benicio del Toro's character. He's not really a character you could spoil, but he does some stuff that would, or he's involved with scenes that are. So I will just say he is a mysterious character that, as Del Toro described him, if you hold him like a blade, he will cut you, but if you hold him like by the handle, he will be useful. So, yeah, he is quite useful in some scenes, but then again, he's not open. He is open to double-crossing and being greedy and all that. He's basically Boba Fett, except this time he is working on, well, not working, he operates to both sides as opposed to just one. And Del Toro does a great job. And the stuff on the other planet where they go to get him, well, they were going to get someone else first, but then they got him instead. It does take a while, but it's pretty good stuff. And the animal chase is pretty cool. And yeah, and the battles are all great. The battle at the start is brilliant. The battle at the end is great. And there is a battle with Rey and Kylo Ren and some of Snoke's bodyguards. That's really cool. Does get a bit violent later on, and one of them gets chopped up in a kind of a spinny thing. And pretty much the fight when the Resistance is first attacked by the First Order after jumping from Lightspeed, so when they're tracking them. But then they start, but as the ship starts to depower, they have to evacuate and escape. And yeah, and the visuals look all stunning, it's brilliant. And like I said, the animals are great. And yeah, it's just a really good film, and the story is great. Like I said, I can't reveal too much about it, but well, you know what, just go and watch it. It's so good. It's a brilliant film. And yeah, it does feel like it is kind of a there is still quite a lot to come, so that'll be episode 9's job to kind of wrap up the story. This one actually did feel kind of like both a middle and a start. So whilst episode 7 was a start, it did have the kind of a feel of an end. Not an end, a middle. So, like it should have been episode 8, and there should have been another episode 7. But this one also is quite middly, but also feels a bit like a start. So I guess maybe it's a change in directors and writers, and they're going to do the same with episode 9, except hopefully that time it should feel a bit more like an ending, as opposed to the other two trilogies where it did feel like a cohesive start, middle, end. Although Phantom Menace, I think there's some stuff before that could have been explained, but possibly not. So, go any further before Phantom Menace, you may as well see Yoda's origin. But yeah, and hopefully episode 9 will do a great job wrapping up this trilogy. There might be 3 more films in the future, episodes 10, 11 and 12, but hopefully, but not just yet. We want to finish this one up. And also there's the anthology films. But I'd be open for episodes 10, 11 and 12. You'd have to call them a different title to sequel trilogy. So overall, this is a really great film. You'll have a really good time with it. Great acting, great visuals, great story. Anything to let it down? I don't know, maybe. If I went into spoilers, possibly. It's quite a long film. It's 2.5 hours, just over, making it the longest Star Wars film to date. But it is able to tell its story well within the long running time. It does a really good job of it. Pretty much, they all do a pretty good job with their time lengths. Mostly. Well, maybe apart from the opening of Return of the Jedi, but besides that, well, and to be honest, that's still my favourite of the Star Wars saga. So, though that being shortened or cut down, not cut out, but cut down or shortened or somehow would have made the film even better. I think a lot more people would have liked it. That's in the Ewoks not being so beating the Stormtroopers so easily. But all in all, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, or just Star Wars The Last Jedi. But I prefer to call it Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, because then, like with Force Awakens being Episode 7, ties in with the original and prequel trilogies of being episodic installments of this saga, and then the anthologies are so-and-so title or so-and-so title a Star Wars story. Like Rogue One, that's just how it was in the titles, but its official name is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So I just call it a Rogue One, but I can also call it Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So I can call this one Star Wars The Last Jedi, or just The Last Jedi. But officially I call it Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So I give Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, a well-deserved 10 out of 10. This makes the third Disney Star Wars film to get this score. I think I gave Force Awakens a 10. Or at least maybe it's gone down to 9 now, perhaps, maybe now. But it was number 1 of my 2015 films ranking, so maybe that might have to change. That might change it a bit to rewatch some of them. But Force Awakens would be a 9 or a 10. Rogue One was certainly a 10 when I did the review. With that one, I didn't do one for Force Awakens, but Rogue One I did, and it had I think I gave that a 10, and this one's just about got a 10. I was considering 9 or 10. I think 10 would work. And to be honest, I think, yeah, not all the Star Wars films are 10 out of 10s, goodness no, but certainly the last two and possibly Force Awakens, that one might be a 9. And they were, but yeah, I think each year Disney have improved with their Star Wars films, whether they're episodic ones like 7 and 8, or Rogue One, an anthology film. However, the next film is not Rogue One, it's Han Solo, a Star Wars story. Not Han Solo, a Star Wars story, which is the Han Solo spin-off prequel, which is it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's something you wanted to know, but you probably wanted a complete movie on it. I would have liked to have seen Han Solo in the prequels, what he was doing, or him being born, some sort of reference. So maybe this film will do that. But I'm not sure if an entire movie is needed. I think it would have worked if it was just a scene or two. Maybe he was on Coruscant, for example, in Episode 3, and he interacted with some characters. Like, maybe that scene was cut before the film, and didn't make it to the deleted scenes section, like the Yoda landing on Dagobah bit. That's the scene that was very good. That was sadly cut, but made sense, but still sadly cut. Maybe they could have added a reference in, but oh well. But we'll see what Solo's like. The expectations aren't high, but with that said, that means it's got the strong potential. If expectations aren't high, then if it is good, then it should hopefully be a surprise, like Rogue One probably, to be honest. Rogue One, I don't think that many people were as excited for it as much as Episode 8. But surprise, surprise, it's one of the best. And whilst I think Episode 8 does top Rogue One is probably still tops Force Awakens. So, for me at least. So, yeah, a good surprise. So it could be like that. And then after Solo which is coming out in May 2018, unless production difficulties mean it has to be delayed back to Christmas. Episode 9 will be out in December 2019. And then 2020 there'll be another anthology film. Not sure who's going to be on the focus on that one. It's either going to be Boba Fett or Obi-Wan Kenobi. In the case of the latter, it will be between episodes 3 and 4. In the case of the former, it's possibly actually going to be set after 6 and before 7. making it the first anthology film to be set between 6 and 7 instead of 3 and 4. That's actually quite interesting. I think the story of the stuff before Episode 7 does need to be shown in a film or TV in a visual form. I think there were some books or comics on it, but in the case of a visual form, I think once Episode 9's released, then maybe we could have a anthology spin-off film looking at some of the stuff that's happened between 6 and 7, like we are with 3 and 4. So, yeah, that's it for my review of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Possibly the last film review of the year, but we'll see. But I think it will be the last film review of the year. But I am hoping to review the Doctor Who Christmas special, possibly after New Year, because I will be going away for a bit after Christmas, and then so I'll probably have to do the review of that either very quickly, before or after I get back, or in the New Year, and it's probably going to go out after the New Year. And also, I'm going to do some Christmas specials ranking for Doctor Who's. I'll do that again just after the review of the 2017 Christmas special, Twice Upon a Time. And there'll be I'm going to do a Universal's video on the Christmas specials as well, hopefully. I'm rewatching them first. All of them up to Return of Dr. Mysterio, and then Twice Upon a Time, that review, and then the ranking. But before Twice Upon a Time on Universals, I'll do a video on the rest of them. And I'm going to do a 2017 film ranking in January, February next year. And also a Doctor Who Series 10 ranking after the Christmas special. So all the episodes from Return of Dr. Mysterio to Twice Upon a Time. So yeah, there's a couple of non-film reviews and rankings coming out in the next couple of months. So Doctor Who Christmas special review and rankings. Twice Upon a Time review and Christmas specials rankings. Series 10 rankings and the film 2017 film rankings, plus the Universal's videos. I'll also try and do another one in January. And then we're looking at a schedule for February, but we'll see. So that's it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this review on Star Wars The Last Jedi. And thank you for watching. Bye. And yeah, that's pretty much. And that's it. So, yeah, I give Star Wars Episode 8, I'm just going to call it that for a bit. And you thought, and you thought that his anger issues in the last film were bad enough. No. And you thought his anger issues in the last film were over the top. And you And you thought he had anger issues in the last film. I'm doing it again.